Yeah, but speaking about util, GamerLegion have actually picked up quite the significant amount, haven't they? Meanwhile, Marker finding a bunch of information, pushing all the way through A. This is quite gutsy for him, but this could get a great reward with the rotation that Gravity has already come away to the B site with.
Yeah, a couple of taps in here from Gravity, unable to land anything, and his head is going to be taken off straight away. PR with a nice pistol start for himself, 2 kills. Leaves it down to Arez here in the middle to try to recover that bomb. He's got a flash to play with. Exercise also changing up his position. This is just a round that now comes down to a lot of individual aim duels. Unless 3D Max can slow it down a little bit, which they have done so. Maka has been able to work his way into Cave, and he might be able to just find a timing onto Torsen here that will open the round up, but it's gone the other way. Uh-oh. Bad news now for 3D Max, as again, we're just down to individual aim duels, one of which has been lost. 3D Max down to the 1v1. The C4 been retrieved by Rez, but he can't get back out to A safely for the plant, which is what he'll initially want to do. Smoke's certainly going to help there. And honestly, if Rez can get a plant in this round, even if he loses it, that's still a win considering where that round was sitting, because that was an absolute mess.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Plant's going to go down. He's got a little bit of time to seed himself. He's picked up a flashbang as well, which could be put to good use. These are our 2 highlighted members, our 2 returning Australia event players.
Attendees,
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's probably a better, more eloquent word. Flash is available, like you said, for Rez, but not required, as he's just going to tap away into the back of body. And so Rez will win the pistol for GamerLegion. GamerLegion have taken control of that pretty comfortably in the first 4 rounds of the map. So not a huge commitment from GamerLegion to trying to take lane. You typically are going to want a little bit more util if you're going to do that, and they don't have a lot to play with here, and apparently they don't have a lot to play with in terms of the fragging department either, as a couple of players just get kind of domed, and it's gonna be a molly that's going to trap Gravity into this fight as well. So that's a 1-for-1 again. I mean, just looking a little bit too easy for GamerLegion at the moment. This round is really shaping up nicely. 2 players over on B. A's been more or less taken on the timing. Little cheeky walkout from Torsen, and yeah, GamerLegion off to a flyer here at IEM Melbourne.
Yeah, just winning kind of every individual duel, and you've even got the smarts to just send in the Mac 10 first to get the trade out for ZTR there. So really well done for GamerLegion. It's why I kind of highlight what we saw in our previous series when we first got gun rounds. It looks a little bit awkward for the team that's finally getting the weaponry in their possession, right?
GamerLegion, solid start to IEM Melbourne, and not that that's against expectations necessarily either. Ancient was always looking like it should be a favorable map for GamerLegion, so I think they're really just kind of upholding their end of the bargain at this point. Entry into middle, another good one here from PR, as he's assisted by a flash from Torsen. Body's trying, he's trying to get something done there. He's trying to play to the strengths of the MP9, but it's not going to work out. And again, another opener for GamerLegion.
And this time, there's not a secondary immediate one, so they can play with a little bit more of the time if they want to, but trying to get Exercise to be a little bit hot under the collar. Has to swivel back towards the A side as well, as the whole halls is going to be open for the taking. And PR, tempted by the shadow, catches Maka in a reload, but then caught in a reload himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair enough. Really, you're not expecting 2 players doubled up in Red Room when you're in a 4-on-5, but that has actually brought this round back a little bit for 3D Max. They're fighting hard for it. CTR able to double down, saves the day, spots out Exercise as well, and Molly's going to keep him stuck in Banana. He can't do anything about the bomb plan, and again, probably can't do anything about this round at this stage. A 1v3 feels wishful thinking, though. That's a fantastic way to start it. Slender's also now isolated. ZTR miles away, and Exercise is finding the timing onto Slend. This gets very awkward. The fact that he hasn't seen that player in CT spawn, he has to guess that he's coming from Donut, but just gambles on the defuse, and in the end, GamerLegion will win the round. It's a little close for comfort, but they got the dub anyway. But we do have a rotation coming through from GamerLegion over toward the A-bomb site right now. It's Slend on his way. You've got Reds causing a bit of a problem over towards B. They're not sure where the hit's going to come in, but it will be towards A, and it is, again, a good one from GamerLegion. They just knock over the A-bomb site. They're not going to be able to make a rotation, or at least not going to be able to do so easily. Exercise having a fight for that position, but
damage.
What do you do here as GamerLegion? You're down 2-on-3. You've got no HP. You don't have really any util that's going to provide any assistance in a retake. You need some smokes, you need some mollies, and they're not going to get them. So
yeah,
it'd be an attempted save again here from 3D Max, and this map of Ancient is going very, very poorly.
I mean, it's another scenario as well for GamerLegion where they're taking a couple of different duels around the map and just winning them kind of cleanly, albeit with a trade. That is a sharp shot out from Rez. And it looks like Lucky, well, this time he's not going to be lucky enough. He will be bowled for 6, as that's the number that GamerLegion do find on the round count. So far, pretty commanding on this T side. 1 foot in front of the other. We just need to see the beginning be won.
Easier said than done, mate. The way things are going right now, GamerLegion kind of just steamrolling their way through this one. 3D Max down to, again, half by investing a little bit here and there, but realistically speaking, it's going to be a tough ask for them again. And there's 2 players that have now been stuck in caves. ETR on the reload. He can't actually find the trade. So overall, I mean, that's about as good as you can really expect or hope for 3D Max. Trouble is, Gravity is stuck in cave, and it seems that GamerLegion have a pretty good idea that they've still got him here as well. So he's not going to be too long for this world. Does a great job of actually getting himself the kill with the assistance, it has to be said, of Torsen. But hey, a 1-for-1 there for Gravity. You'll take it. Exercise that third man stacked in toward cave. Could be a little bit of a surprise force. 5-7 can do a nasty bit of work, and you've even got Body over here as well. So if GamerLegion are not careful, they're going to lose a player or 2 on the way in. Body could really get some work done. No gun in hand for PR, but he pulls it back out and hits a nice shot. Headshot onto Body was required. Talk about that as an oxymoron, but either way, Maka here in the 1v2 working his way up ramp, maybe a little bit unexpected. PR, though, watching for it. Nothing is getting past GamerLegion at the moment, and it's certainly not going to be Maka to pick up that first round for 3D Max. 7-0 the lead now for GamerLegion.
PR has, again, just been sensational in multi-fragging up another round. Finally, though, we get the proper weaponry for 3D Max. The AWP is here, the util's here, and there's an opening kill that doesn't get traded immediately, though. Strange scenario.
Yeah, first opener, really. It feels like in the whole map for 3D Max, and they're going to double down on it as well. All right, when it rains, it pours, apparently, is 3D Max are just going to blast this round out. Slend, though, with the double may make it a bit more interesting. He's waiting for that peek as well from Gravity. He's not going to get it just yet. Gravity not too keen on looking for any more information, but we'll get that smoke down.
Recognizes that he needs to go back to look after the site, only with a flashbang that could be brought for a little bit of time. You just don't want to see him give an opportunity over towards GamerLegion here. Go too far forward on a line or open himself up for the angle of the AWP, which I believe the shadow was even maybe just spotted then. Have to see how Slend is going to navigate around this one.
Oh, that's a big kill. That's a huge kill. Brings it back into the 2-on-2 now. Allows Slend to take up a position inside of Temple as well, and he can, later on in the round, if he doesn't spot anyone out here, work in through to CT spawn. C4 should be on a line that he can hit from there, and this is really, really awkward, actually, for 3D Max on this retake. They've got no idea where either of these 2 Ts are. Smoke down onto the bomb, but Slend is just taking this round into his own hands. He's on for the ace. He's got 4 already. Gravity, the shot missed onto him. Might have given him a little bit of a chance if he dove into the smoke for the defuse, but he did not, and that is the round over. Slend, he will not quite get the ace. That will be stolen away from him, but a huge round out from him and from Torsen, and they pick up 8 for GamerLegion.
A little bit from the A side of things to more bolster up to B. They would have been right in doing so, but emphasis now to Red Room. That's where 3D Max are.
Well, it's gone a lot better this time around. It's going to be another 5-on-2. Let's see if Torsen and Slend can pull it back once again. It's the same circumstance. A 5v2 for Torsen and Slend, but they don't have C4 control. They have got the A site, but for all that's going to do without the bomb, and 30 seconds left to collect it in, I think this one's probably the one that will finally go the way of 3D Max. They have been fighting hard, but Slend is certainly going to make it as expensive as he possibly can before that round does end up going their way. Torsen also going to look to activate, picks up Gravity. Surely it can't happen again.
20 seconds to get the bomb, though, and it's in the depths of mid.
Ooh.
They will get finished off at the end. So finally, 3D Max are on the board here for their first round at IEM Melbourne 2025.
And start to work their way into this map. Nice early smoke out there from GamerLegion, but that's from 3D Max, but GamerLegion is going to completely disrespect it, go straight through. Maka set up here in mid, can barely see anything, but apparently he can see PR. You can see enough of PR to finish him off. Torsen hiding next to that molly. They really want to dig Maka out. There's a lot of commitment on both sides into middle right now.
Yeah, but it's what you can find elsewhere, isn't it?
Look at this
maybe
push.
not where you're looking for. The flank from Exercise. Does he get the second one as well? In the smoke is Torsen. Really trying to hunt down Maka. Smoke gone. Bailed out by Gravity. And now it's all on to Rez with a 1 versus 5 attempt.
I don't think this one's going to be winnable. But that's a good start. Very good start. He's not cost him any of his HP. Oh my god. Okay, hang on. No. I started to believe. I could. That was the thing. That's the problem. You know, it got to the point where I really could start to imagine, and then it's GamerLegion getting an opening or two, and yeah, exactly. They haven't really had to work too hard for any of these rounds. That might happen again. PR in mid, though, will drop to body. So mid control definitely established, but he's seen a fair bit there in mid that's going to incentivize GamerLegion to go towards B quickly. And they'll be getting a bomb plant down here. There's no doubt about that one. Lucky could think about pushing through that smoke if there was some assisting util, but there's no flashes coming through from any of those rotators so far. In fact, they don't have a lot of util at all for this retake, so this could actually end up being quite awkward for 3D Max as Rez will be able to double down, and now it's Torsen's turn. 2 for 2. Everyone's getting 2, and then Slen chiming in with the last one. Speaking of 2, that's the 10-2, and the first half for GamerLegion was sublime. We can hope they can put something together and make this one competitive. They're quick out already into middle, and it's a big old stack on B from GamerLegion expecting that B hit. They're not quite going to get it. This is going to be a little bit more of a ruckus happening through the red room, but a huge crossfire that they've walked their way into, and that is just the perfect response from GamerLegion. Fundamentally, playing a great game of Ancient right now. Even if Body does get this kill, that round is not going to be fun for him to negotiate. A 1v4, he would need the pistol ace to pick this one up for 3D Max.
Yeah, GamerLegion were doing the same thing on their kind of pistol round, right? Looking to stretch out through there, and we've got some trades and backwards and forwards and timing, but this time 3D Max's attempt not going to work out, and Body heard, caught in reload, Slens to punish, and you would think that if there was any opportunity for 3D Max to get back in towards this map, it was going to have to start with the pistol round. Let's just think about Inferno. Let's go on to Inferno, our map pick. It should be a pretty competitive map there. And if we can win that, we can put it onto Nuke, and that's a bit more of a 50-50. So there is still a pathway to success for this series, but it might not be starting here on Ancient. Gravity, though, with a nice opener onto ZTR, picking that pace up through lane into Cave. Need to take that fight against Slen, but M4 versus Mac-10 in a fight like that, better off just backing it off. Rez on the off angle here. He's going to play off with the contact of PR, who is able to get himself a reload off, but no more than just the one kill. And that is now A site being broken open. Slend, however, on a fast rotate, should be able to pick one up here on the timing. Maka, insane movement, just ducks under those shots like Neo in the Matrix. And now it's Torsen 1v3. So 3D Max, they're not done yet. What a crazy round out from them. Absolutely. I mean, just the shots in the trade game to come out, and they're just hitting the headshots, getting up close and personal with the submachine gun in the beginning too. Like, well, nade over the shelf. Obviously, that smoke outside of Cave can allow a GamerLegion player to lurk out there, but there's nobody that's done so. ZTR through the flash. He got a second. That's crazy. I don't think he can hold on to this B-side solo. He needs a bit of assistance, but the fact that he's got 2 might make this interesting. Nade dunking right in front of his face will be the end of him, but 3-on-3 for this, what should be a post plan. Bomb's not yet down, though, for 3D Max. That nade, oh, Slend could have done a lot of work with that if it would have landed onto Exercise's head. Some good chip damage being done out of these pistols as well, and PR round the corner.
Again, some more damage into Mako. It's a 2-for-1 trade. And Exercises on 29 HP. Slen going to find that info. MP9, big old swing is going to get it done. And GamerLegion, they bounce back with one of their own.
Look at all the X's on the radar there. Everybody trying to get a duel favored in the site of B at the moment there. But 3D Max just can.
Yeah, pretty hard to fumble that bag. But 3D Max are going to keep giving it a crack until they can't anymore. And they'll work their way out into middle. Not a super solid or strong hold attempted by GamerLegion in mid this round. Some nice damage onto PR through the smoke. And Rez and ZTR are also tagged up. And speaking of tagged up, that's going to be a one-shot headshot for the Galil from ZTR's perspective. Not too enjoyable. And 3D Max still going to be looking for a way back into this map. PR working back onto the line. He's quite low. That'll set Slend up for some success, though. He's got the info. Saw them on the right side. He's going to get aggressive. Knows that he kind of has to in that circumstance. Will ultimately go down. And Body... Ooh, he wanted to clean up the rest over toward B. Unable to do so in this instance, but this will be a round for 3D Max.
Gotta hope to see that the AWP will be retrieved and juggled some weaponry for GamerLegion, but you're definitely not going to see them go for a challenge in this one. So another one goes the way of 3D Max, but I think the question right now is, you know, going to be how long can you prolong?
And so defaulting back over towards B, and now coming back over towards middle.
Would be...
Keeping himself active.
Well, there's the information. I was going to say it would be a good fight for him here, but for PR, the fact that he gets away with a double is egregious.
No, this is going to fall apart for 3D Max, isn't it? Oh, it's done. It's done. Slend on a line like this one, surely not going to miss.
Oh.
Well, I might have cast a curse him a little bit with that one, but at the end of the day, a 3v1 here for Maka, even if he gets away with his life for a second there, will still feel a little bit too much to ask. The rifle shots are in, and Torsen will get it done. Had he not, the grenade was there, and it is the inevitability that felt like it was coming for a long time. GamerLegion will take map number 1, and they do so decisively. We'll try that again. GamerLegion versus 3D Max on map number 2. It is going to be Inferno. Let's get back into it, and it is GamerLegion that will be starting off on CT side. Pistol round here, all important for 3D Max, just to try and get this one started on the right foot. But they're going to be going into an incredibly stacked B side, and they might be going through a smoke to do it as well. Slend here with the dualies, doesn't start too well, but Torsen, a couple of insane starting shots with the USP, brings it down to now ZTR, solo holding on B. He's got a decent chunk of damage out there as well. So Lucky and Maka tagged up pretty substantially. Bomb plant attempt. Rez will sneak his way into Banana to ensure that that's not going to be an escape avenue for these 3D Max players. And now Maka, having been left alone, is going to be unable to do it. GamerLegion will start map 2 with the pistol round.
When it comes to the T side, are they going to be just as good?
Rez is looking for something, and he's getting a lot of damage. PR, oh, such a cheeky push out from Apps as well. You love to see that so early in the half. This is really going to start to condition 3D Max into being quite wary if that ends up being a possibility, and it's obviously successful, so they are going to have to be thinking about it. Torsen waiting for that push to come on through, but nothing happening, even despite the fact that Slender's missed a shot or two. Looks like 3D Max are going to have to commit their way into this B bomb side, and Torsen just did not see Maka, so he'll go down. And Slend missed a couple of early shots, but he's starting to come back online in this round. This is definitely looking like it should be for Slend, low on HP. Able to jump back out to safety. A 4v2 for the retake to claim the 4th round for GamerLegion. PR set up nicely with that grenade landing on the top of Lucky as well, and Body found out as well. GamerLegion will get themselves a 4th, and they do it cleanly.
Yeah, they are hungry today, aren't they? They are looking pretty cohesive in how they want to go for their rotates and their utility combos too. Everybody making sure they're getting some good shots out. Yeah, we see a couple more whiffs from Slend on the AWP, but it's just the timing and the gap finding over at the A apps to start things off. As you say, if you're getting some early conditioning in this one, you're really going to make 3D Max go. It's the single HE grenade, which, if Body does place it right, it could actually do some great damage on towards ZTR. But you've also got Torsen, who's going to be here and now backed up by Rez.
Oh, flash in here. And that is going to prompt the peek from Torsen. He's going to fall. He got that peek a little too soon. Gravity, nice little jiggle around the box, but in the end, the site take just does not go cleanly enough at all for 3D Max. They were already down on numbers. They don't get clean entries, and well, you'd hope, honestly, if you're 3D Max that it's going to start here. They've got not a lot of HP on body and lucky. That's not what I was going to say. They've got something to play with in this round. That's nice. Double nade. Gets rid of Torsen. So that'll give them something. I mean, they've got the pistols, they've got the util, they've got the armor. They could make this work.
He's got two.
They just line up for ZTR, and they're so low on HP that they get cleaned up. I mean, and ZTR is happy to just tuck inside of this corner while the smoke's still up, play close. Now he's inside of the smoke, over the top of it. He's behind Maka. I mean, it's gone so horribly wrong for 3D. That was like, do you know that series called A Series of Unfortunate Events?
Yeah.
Like Lemony Snicket or something? That's that. That was that, but a round of Counter-Strike.
And you'll miss it because of the fumblings of 3D Max, but ZTR actually got an ace. He has probably found the first ace of IEM Melbourne, unless I've missed one. He's just cleaned them up. All 5. Just like that.
Yeah. So, as you said, it's going to have to start here in the gun round. We might have hoped that it could happen there on the pistol armor buy, but this is really where it has to get going. Otherwise, this is just super doomed.
Yeah, for sure. Pop flash over the half wall. Good fundamentals. That's better for 3D Max. Lucky in for a double, leading the way into the B site. This is the opportunity now, you would assume.
You would think so. Unless Rez gets extremely lucky with the spam through the smoke here, but not going to happen. And at this stage, GamerLegion can quite happily just call a 3-man save and say, you know what? We can give them that round. That's all good.
Yeah.
Play Inferno. This is how you play Inferno, man. Slender's just going to back it up.
Good flash. Untradeable too, unfortunately, for Body Down Banana.
Well, you got the first high five, and it seemed like there was a conversation happening there. You know, maybe like, listen, don't worry about it. Like, don't get stuck in your own head, whatever. But it's hard not to when things like that are happening. I mean, that's just a 50-50 duel for Gravity, or a 50-50 peak. Realistically speaking, he's never going to win it, regardless of if he's looking in the right direction. But when you get shot in the back by an AWP, it's never going to be a good feeling. There's a missed AWP shot onto PR. Well, onto Exercise, it should say. That means the end of PR, but it doesn't really matter. It's, yeah, I missed smoke. That's a pretty bad one too. Yeah,
I mean, unless you're 500 IQ, you're braining an apps wrap, like, and you're flooding out so the site player kind of can't see through it, which I don't even think that probably is.
I don't think it waterfalls that far, bro. I don't think.
No.
I don't, like, you're trying to be too nice to them. You're really trying to be too nice. There's no way.
Please delete that. Just BO3s. An opportunity now.
That's so nice, man. Nade, flash into the smoke at the same time, and an easy kill for Rez in the end. Well, I say easy. He's down to 2 HP. It wasn't easy. It was a bit of a labored spray, to be honest, but an opening kill for GamerLegion. It's going to have them on the right foot.
Yeah, and it actually draws rotations to the A site, where the B site is just going to be held by Torsen with a single flashbang, so you might even have to just shift to playing retake, unless he can play off angle and find one, albeit 2 kills here.
Off angle and find one is about as good as playing retake, frankly. Slen's going to get his incent down as well, and he's got a nade. Oh, he's seen him jumping up already. That's a free kill. No, no, he missed it. He knew, but then he missed.
Too many options.
I mean, there was about 1,000 people to look at. I think that's what it was, to be honest. It was like shooting fish in a barrel, and he just couldn't decide which one he wanted to shoot. And so bomb plan's going to go down. It is 4 on 5, but there's low HP CTs right here, and Slen needs to start hitting some of these shots. Otherwise, this might be a round win for 3D Max. There's one back for Slen. He's looking for the next kill onto Body. Hasn't found it. Lucky takes down ZTR in Banana, and Body has done a fantastic job of holding onto Ruins. That could have been so different if Slen would have just hit that shot.
They're not too phased about the back of that one. They still have this half no matter what. They can still blow this out of proportion to a 10-2. That's, you know, a little bit later, because this round starting to get some presence at the top of mid. Your shutdown exercise.
Yeah, such a great hold. A good setup, though, for GamerLegion. When they've got all those numbers for brackets, they're actually only able to trade 2 for 2. I thought they might go a little better than that, but my concern is that GamerLegion just go back and win this round, and then 3D Max lose all of that momentum. If they haven't, I would say they haven't even really built up any momentum just yet, but they would certainly lose anything that they've got. And Slend, through the smoke, not going to be able to get it done this time. He'll have another crack. That nade not showing anybody. And so in the end, GamerLegion are going to get themselves a site to retake, and Maka watching for the boost. Torsen will go down. This is where GamerLegion now have to save. Because this half,
that's better.
It could still blow out a little bit if they were to lose this round. So they've done a pretty good job of managing their money. Now they just need to ensure that this round actually ends up going decisively their way instead of falling back into a 7-5, because this has felt like more of an 8-4, 9-3 half to me, but 3D Max are trying to fight their way back into it. It's a 1-for-1 on Bananas. ETR gets out early in front of the molly, and he's killed both Maka and Gravity as a result. Very cheeky as GamerLegion, they've lost players all over the place, but as you try to speed things up here, you lose more as Slend, a nice double. That round was just balls to the walls. Everyone running through everything, trying to force the pace.
Methodical on that one, not missing the shots. You do love to see that one. Last round of the half now. And Maka able to open up. The hunt is on towards this A site too.
Oh, there's no one on A apart from PR. So he kind of has to take that aggressive fight, but they are losing it all over the map. 3D Max, again, picking up the pace. That might have been part of the strategy in the previous round. Overwhelmed with pace, and it has worked. That's a 4v1 and PR with 7 HP. I'm not backing him here, believe it or not.
No, I wouldn't. You've got 2 HEs, you've got 2 mollies on the side of 3D Max. None needed.
That'll be that. 8-4 the first half here. Again, a good one for GamerLegion as they look to close this one out 2-0. But some more signs of life from 3D Max at least.
Yeah, that's the big thing. The Copium is going to be in this one for the 3D Max side. That's not the greatest start though, but at least a trade and an attempt at another one. You already know that Body is here to fight another day.
Ooh, tap on in there from Body. GamerLegion trying to make the entries happen, but Body's just popped off with the USP. What was that? Plan's going down, though. ZTR has a chance, however. He has allowed them to creep all the way up Dig, and that's going to be bad news. Nice high-low setup, and 3D Max do start the second half positively. There was a couple of cheeky force buys in the second half of Ancient. That sort of went the way of the force buy, so it's not over for sure for GamerLegion. Flash over the top, Body completely blinded by it. He's going to go down early on in the piece, and GamerLegion will be happy enough with that as a start to say, we're not going to push through this next smoke, we're not going to over-aggress and give up our advantage. Let's try to now play out this 4-on-5. So perfect start to the round for GamerLegion, but where do they go from here? If it's towards B, that's now where the stack is from 3D Max.
That's a prime example of what we heard in the interview before this map as well, between Lucky and Body, where Lucky needed someone to be a little bit more aggressive with him at this B site. That time he kind of left Body out on an island.
Gravity round the corner off the back of a nice flash from Maka, but can only get himself one. The deagles and the grenades apparently doing all the work here for GamerLegion. Maka tucked in here behind second oranges, and he's now been found out, and there's no way you're surviving from a position like that. It's a one and done for sure, and that piss around might be a one and done for 3D Max in this half. Like it's just gone by the wayside. It's gone with the wind. Certainly is. Body holding on to the FAMAS and the 5-7 being brought through as well, but I don't know really that gives you a whole lot to get excited about. The only thing that may change the way this round plays out is the fact that you've got 4 players toward the B bomb site, and they're going to try to get aggressive. There's a team kill in there from Slend as well, but they just have to get past Body, which proves to be a little more difficult than you would have otherwise thought, though. Job somewhat done by GamerLegion.
Yeah.
Still scared that Exercise is hanging around, but we can see he's on the other side of the map.
Just making sure you clear all of your corners slowly together. You got your util, go for the plant, maybe even tap it to see if he runs through anywhere, but just go for it in the end. And as we've kind of highlighted already, Exercise on the other side of the map, but also not really there in the kill department. He's going the right avenue to pick up a weapon, all things considered. So we'll see what he can do potentially here.
And he's 3 and 13. Don't have a lot of faith, but I guess you have to kind of go for it in a time like this. There's a nice molly to the back of the site there, but even though he's gotten rid of Rez, he's not going to be able to get over the line against PR. I mean, that's a fairly unorthodox position for PR to be in. Yeah, 8 of them, I believe. 4 on either side. Faster play by the looks of things here from GamerLegion, and they're going to go straight into brackets, which has played right into the hands of Gravity. What a nice hold from him. Gets a 3K. It isn't necessarily much of a cause for celebration, though, for 3D Max, just because, look, you've still got so much work to do that's almost the start of it. It's like, okay, we at least get a chance. Gravity's given us a chance to play this map, but we can't even begin to get hyped about this potential comeback yet, because it hasn't even started, and well, Slend will grab Exercise. Lucky will finish things off. So 6-4 3D Max. And they are in with a fighting chance, but a lot of coming back to do before you'll see them getting too hyped. As you can see, it's a fairly muted celebration.
If GamerLegion do have one round go back their way.
Artillery barrage connecting onto Torse, and he's just been booked by the grenades. So GamerLegion going to have to go elsewhere for some success. Banana will not be theirs this time.
So GamerLegion, player deficit. Still a bit of utility to try and fashion some angles for successful advantages. Flushing out quad. Seeing what you can smoke off over towards the jungle side of things, but you overlook a banana creep, and that, unfortunately, is where Body and Lucky managed to find some good kills, leaving just PR to have a 1 versus 4 attempt or save the AK, because now the money is all but reset for GamerLegion.
Yeah, I mean, holding on to this AK would be a nice incentive just to have something to work around in the next round, but it's a long time to try to be holding on to it, so he's going to have a little bit of a crack in here. See if he can just maybe do a bit more damage. Has got the C4 as well. If he somehow manages to find like an insane timing and just win 2 1v1 duels, he'll be able to get the bomb plant down as well. Oh, he's heard the steps on the side. He's heard Gravity exiting. You've got to assume at that point that the last player will be a pit player. But he's just going to try and gamble for the plant. That was a mistake in the end, as Exercise will swing him. But it's just not going to cost them a timeout. So they kind of get 3 timeouts, really, in this attempt to sort of stave off the comeback from 3D Max.
Oh.
Can't imagine they're going to get too much done here, trying to waterfall out. Exercise with an M4, though, will go down. And okay, bit of damage, but nothing really too major. 3D Max will be very happy with that. Gravity gets himself the 4K. And 3D Max continue to just plod along, 1 round at a time.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Just 1 round at a time. That's what you got to take it as. You got to get these ones across the line. You got to get them on the board, and those free gimmies you'll certainly take and try to make them even look successful.
Still that lurk happening around on the A side of the map, but this is very much going to end up being a B hit. Util getting tossed in at the moment from GamerLegion, and they're on their way out. ZTR, that's a huge aim duel to win, and then Rez bangs Lucky out through the coffins. It might as well be the coffins for 3D Max, as that round is going to signal 12 for GamerLegion, and I don't know that 3D Max is coming back from this anymore. I was starting to believe, you know what I mean? But I wasn't quite fully there yet, and that round is just going to dash the hopes.
Have been dropped auto utility over at CT to keep picking them up and keep refreshing them. I mean, you might even not be able to save the damn guns on the back of this one, would you? Just Marker with an AWP. And if he reveals himself, you know the hunt is certainly going to be on. I mean, I'm looking at the money. It's not the actual worst thing. He's still got 65.50 that'll bring some loss bonus into him now. But you still want to make sure that you are holding on to it. Nevertheless, won't happen. So everything falls. GamerLegion now see themselves on series point, and they've got 4 of them to play with. Yeah, makes it interesting to see what they're journey throughout the bracket's going to be. But for this round, Body, Lucky, taking a lot of that utility to their faces.
Oh, Torsen, that'll be a freebie for him. Body, unfortunately, left out to dry by his teammates who back up into the A bomb site. There'll be a quick smoke into CT Spawn and some extra util tossed on in by GamerLegion, but they're not actually interested in the B take. Gonna exit their way back over toward A, see if they can retake control of brackets and put a bit more pressure on 3D Max that way.
Yeah, you got a rotation started to be cheated over by Maka. Right call to do so with 50 seconds to go. The smoke in Apps will start to fade as Exercise onto ZTR.
Torsen, double kill on the entry into A, and this will be it. GamerLegion working their way into A. They're going to get the bomb plant down, and they're going to finish this series off 2-0. Got a bit of egg on our faces as we were sort of saying, this looks like it should be a close one, but GamerLegion have utterly dominated 3D Max.
Yeah.
And Lucky, he's unfortunately the one that will have to deal with this 1v4 attempt, but there is surely nothing to be done here, and you can tell he's not even really too keen on going for it. He's just sitting around behind this smoke hoping for anything, but it's not going to happen. 13-8 on map number 2, and GamerLegion, well, it was a foregone conclusion, so they're not even going to get too excited about it, but it's got to be a very, very happy start to IEM Melbourne for these guys.